Okay, so this is my Canvas LMS or Learning Management System. This is what I use to design a lot of my instruction and assess my students, as well as assess if they've reached certain outcomes or not. So this is my home page, and this is where I can navigate, and the students have a similar interface to this. It's where they navigate the course. Uh, I'm going to jump into my modules just to show you my instruction. And you can see here that I've got a wide variety of units that I've covered and have yet to cover. And we'll jump into one. This one's on decomposers. And you can see it's divided into sections. I've got it chunked into the carbon cycle, decomposers themselves, microbes in general, and we even talked a little bit about pathogens. So we're talking about microorganisms and their role in our lives as humans, and specifically their role in the carbon cycle. So how does this relate to my instruction? Well, I've got a variety of instructional pieces in here. Reading, which is really an interactive reading, a multimedia reading for the kids, and questions to go along with that. Interactives, so the kids can play around a little bit. Assignments, here they had to create a presentation about the role of different players in the carbon cycle, and they had to turn that in. Some videos for the kids if they're interested. Some other pieces here. This is actually a place where the students created presentations in an app called Flowella, and I could take the embed code and post their presentations so they could study each other's presentations and give feedback. Here's a test that the kids had to take. And I can, in Canvas, immediately see the results on that assessment and use that to drive my instruction. This is a project that the kids did on pathogens. It's a little mystery they had to figure out, made by the Center for Disease Control, the CDC. And they had to write an essay, a 5-paragraph essay, on what caused the outbreak and how they figured that out and how to prevent one in the future. So this is just a quick overview of how I can put different pieces, different types of instruction into my Canvas LMS, and have my kids learn in a variety of ways and demonstrate their knowledge in a variety of ways. So Canvas allows me to do all of these things. So I can show you an example. Here's a reading and questions. Usually it begins with some instructions for the students, a link to a PDF of the reading so they can put that into an app like Notability, save it to their device, whatever they need to do. The reading itself is multimedia because it has links to things like vocabulary. It has good visuals for the kids to look at. It even includes, I've got questions and videos with questions specific to that video. And then like here, I added 2 short videos about a couple pieces of the carbon cycle that I thought the kids needed some help visualizing. So that's what a reading looks like. Interactives. Occasionally I put these in if I can find a good one. And this is actually a really nice one. It's a good visual of the carbon cycle. And then we can scroll over different pieces of it. So carbon dioxide exchange from the atmosphere to the ocean. If the kids wanted to learn about that, they could click on it. There's a video. There's a description. If they wanted to learn about sinking sediment in the ocean floor, limestone, they can see a picture of what that looks like. Here's the actual organism that dies and sinks to the bottom of the ocean and piles up and eventually becomes limestone. So that's an example of an interactive. The videos, when I post a video, it's very easy to do in Canvas. I go to the video on YouTube. I get the embed code from the share option. For example, this one is on Mount St. Helens. It's a PBS documentary. And then the students had to watch that and figure some things out. So this helps me do some inquiry. How did Mount St. Helens form? Why did it erupt? What part did it play in the carbon cycle? So that's usually how I handle videos as pieces of instruction. Let's see here. Here's some of the presentations I was able to post. So I was able to take all the presentations from my Period 3 class and post them to one Canvas page. And they're live. They can present in this small window, they can step through it or play it, or they can go full screen if they need to. Okay. I mentioned a turn-in page. So here they had to take a carbon cycle presentation and they had to turn it in. I believe most of them did it in Google Slides, and Canvas is connected directly to my Google Drive and their Google Drive, so it's very easy for them to do. From here I can do a couple things. I can download all their submissions if I want to, if I need an artifact or some evidence, or I need to work offline. I can also go into SpeedGrader and I can go class by class right there, or I can go student by student, and here I can see all their slides that they created. I can give them a grade, I can add comments, I could even attach a document like maybe the rubric and highlight some things they didn't follow. I can record myself giving them feedback, and then that all gets back to them and they can access that in their Canvas interface. So SpeedGrader is awesome, and it really does save some time. Let me show you what a test looks like. So here's the test on microscopic life. And the kids take these on their iPads through Canvas, so I can send them all. I use Apple Classroom to send them all to the assessment so that I all know that they are where they are supposed to be. And then I can actually watch all their screens on my iPad through my Apple Classroom app. So these are the questions. That's a short answer. Here's a written response, a true, false, multiple choice, etc., etc. And then, once the kids have taken this assessment, it's not showing up here, but I can then go into SpeedGrader and I can do all sorts of analytics on their results, see if my questions were written correctly, to see if I missed something in my instruction. Maybe my instruction was poor and needs improvement. So I get a lot of data from that drives what I do in a certain unit. And here's the project, which ended up in an essay. Gave some instructions here, a nice format to their essay to help them out, because in 7th grade that can be a little bit tough for their brains to figure out. And then They had a place to turn it in. And in Canvas, they can turn in a variety of formats. They can go right from their Google Drive. They could do any other type of document. They can even handwrite it and take pictures of it and turn in the pictures. And that's an example of one unit. That's kind of a large unit. You can see it was sort of broken down into several different assessments. But this is how I design a lot of my instruction. I don't rely on Canvas for 100%, but I rely on it a good bit for what I do in my classroom, because it allows me to use a lot of different apps, technologies, different types of assessment. I can pretty creatively create content for the kids to have, which lets me do a lot of inquiry where the kids are exploring different things and then present it to their classmates or demonstrating their knowledge in different ways. So that's a quick tour of my Canvas learning management system.